somewhat overcast January day, and we are over in our beautiful food forest part of the green yard. You can hear our peach cheek lovebirds singing in the background, a few doves as well. It's been warm the last week or so, which has been nice. We've reached up into the mid 70s, which has been wonderful. Lows are still hovering around that 50-degree temperature, which is fine for all of our tropicals. So we've been enjoying this kind of heat wave that's come through. I just love the food forest part of the green yard. I've been doing a lot of work over here. Obviously, most of our trees are still covered up, our ultra-sensitive tropicals. We have our soursop and our santal tree in here. They're actually both putting off new growth right now, which is awesome. Lots of heat generated in kind of this frost fabric box that they're in, this cocoon I said before. We have our dwarf Namwa banana actually putting out a new leaf right now. Our beautiful Michaelia alba has some new leaf buds on it as well. Our papaya tree, which is right exactly where you guys are, is starting to put out those flowers. They're just about to open, which is so exciting. But we're over here in the food forest part of the green yard because of this beautiful tree right here. This is our Loquat tree. I do not remember the variety of Loquat. I know there's a bunch. I actually think it was a mystery Loquat that I got at our local nursery. It's been doing okay. I actually should not have planted it in this spot. This is kind of a bad spot for it. It's a little bit crowded over here. The reason I originally planted it here was because it would be crowded, because I thought it would be able to get some of that afternoon shade, be more protected in this space. But I'm finding that it actually wants to kind of grow into the sun, which is a little surprising there. It's wanting more sun than what it's receiving. So you'll notice here as well, I've been having a little bit of issue with salt burn on my Loquat. When I water, I deep water, it gets flood irrigation, but for some reason it's just not pushing down that salt like it should. So I'm getting all this salt burn on my Loquat leaves here. It is still happy though. It's put off 3 branches since I got it, and you can see this branch is actually one of the better ones with this really long, foot-long leaf. It's beautiful. And part of the reason we're talking about growing a Loquat is because I'm getting some fruit this year. So the first year that I put it in the ground, I actually got 4 fruit off of the Loquat, so I got to try what it's like. It was good, but it was still, you could tell it was a young tree, so the flavor wasn't exactly there, but it was a good fruit. It didn't fruit last year, which was fine. I figured it was growing, and it has grown about 3 feet, actually closer to 4 feet since I planted it, which is huge. This year though, I was graced with this beautiful flower. I think Loquat flowers are some of the most unique and beautiful flowers on a tree. They haven't opened up yet, but they're just about to. You can see that little white just peeking through on the edge, yellowish whitish color peeking through at the edge, so I know they're about to bloom. I already did a video when I first planted it and it bloomed about hand pollinating the Loquats. I did do that at that time. I believe that's why I got some fruit. So I am going to hand pollinate this again as well. And even though our other stems are not putting off any growth, we at least have these beautiful, beautiful new leaves on here as well. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about growing a Loquat here in the Phoenix Valley. Here we go. They are very sun sensitive. This one actually got a little bit sunburned last summer, not too bad. It actually handled the sun way better than I thought it would, but it is becoming more of a mature tree. It's already almost three years in ground, which is really amazing. One of the biggest factors that I attribute to this Loquat doing well, and part of the reason I planted it over here to begin with, is because we have our shed right along this side here, and then we do have this block fence here. I went ahead and put up this passion vine trellis to even help shade it a little bit more, and passion vine's not doing that great right now just because it's so cold, but during the summer it is just full. The whole thing is just full all along. You'll see here, I did freshly mulch, so I do attribute some of the success that I've had with this Loquat to this, about 1.5 foot of mulch. I just added more to it now, and I think this year I'm gonna try to really focus on making sure it gets that really deep water that it needs. You'll see up here pushing out a bunch of new growth. This is actually new in the last week or so. Beautiful, beautiful new growth. I'm so excited. This is kind of the main stalk right here. So pushing out new growth on the main stalk too. And then it kind of has this offshoot that's all the way up at the top, which is also pushing out that new growth. And then of course, part of the reason we're talking about our Loquat today is because of these beautiful flowers. So it comes off in the stem, and then each of those little balls is actually gonna end up being a flower. And from my experience, just from the first year it fruited, usually each stem will get one fruit off of it. So we'll probably get at least 2 fruit, maybe 3 fruit off of this one stem here. One thing I really love about Loquats is their look. They get this, evergreen foliage, and I just love the fact that their leaves are, they have these giant foot-long leaves, and as long as you can keep them from getting any sort of salt burn or anything like this, then they stay this beautiful green color all year round. All right, so that's kind of a short, really brief video about growing a Loquat here in the Phoenix Desert. I'm hoping to have a harvest video here usually I think last time I harvested end of April, beginning of May, so they are kind of that springtime fruit that we get. This one's actually fruiting later this year than last time. Last time I had the flowers in November, so I'm not sure why, but fruiting a little bit later here flowering a little bit later here in January, but still very excited that I'm hopefully going to get some fruit this year. One other thing that I didn't mention is sulfur. We talk about most of our tropical trees. They definitely need that sulfur to lower the pH. Loquat does require that low pH in order to thrive and survive here in the Phoenix Valley. And then of course that deep watering really flush out those salts, those minerals. That does help as well, especially the salt, because our water here in Phoenix is very salty. It comes from the Salt River after all. Most of it does. So we do have that salt, very heavy mineral water, very hard water. So definitely that deep watering pushes it down away from the roots a little bit more, helps that tree to thrive and survive a little bit better. So as always, live green, plant lots, and of course, have fun. We'll see you next time.